up, John Denero.
Hi, I'm John. So I've had the privilege of teaching the introductory computer science course here at Berkeley over the last few years. In 2010, across 2 semesters, we had about 800 students, and now we have 2,400 students. So it's growing really fast. In 2010, we had 1 faculty member. 2015, we have 1 faculty member. So the story there has really, oh, and I should say, at the same time, we asked students at the end of every semester, how worthwhile was this course? And the ratings they give are higher than they've ever been. So somehow, we've managed to scale up education here on campus to a really large population of people, more than can fit in a room at any given time. And the students are really getting a lot out of it, at least they report. And then I watch their exam performance, and I find myself writing harder and harder problems every semester, because they seem to be understanding it better, which is tough for me, but great for them. So here I feel like on campus we have a success story of using technology in order to scale a course. You know, we're not 50 times bigger than we were, but we're 3 times bigger in a setting with really ambitious students who are demanding a lot of us. You know, they know a lot when they come in, and they want to make sure that they learn a lot while they're there. So the central theme that's been guiding technology development for us has been about making sure that students' time is spent really well. You know, human effort is precious, and it might be easy to waste students' time by having them sit in a problem that they can't understand for 10 hours. But when we do that, we really do them a disservice. And so we've been building up a software stack that allows our students to often make progress on their own through kind of computer-guided automated tutoring, but then also know exactly when and how to get connected with someone on the course staff so that if they are stuck, they can get help with that. So I just drew a picture of some of the pieces where technology has touched the course. And in aggregate, it basically feels like it's an online course as much as it's an in-person course, in the sense that I don't know all of these students. And most of them just watch me on YouTube. They don't even come to my lectures. But they do have small group interactions with TAs where they're going deeper into the material on a very kind of personal basis and doing a lot of collaborative learning. So how was this possible? Well, YouTube was really helpful. Another piece that was really helpful is that we spent a lot of time diagramming what was happening in a computer system for the students automatically, so that they could investigate their own programs at a level of detail that they couldn't do before. And that meant if they had a question, they didn't need to always ask. They could kind of ask their computer, what's going on in this example? And as they page through, they get these diagrams that are generated automatically. And all of a sudden, they can kind of answer their own questions. And they can do exploration in a way that was quite difficult for them before. And then we have a course forum. I just posted in some statistics. So we're now 6 weeks into a course. And there have been 10,000 posts on our course forum, both from the students and then responses from the TAs and myself. So there's just a tremendous amount of activity of people talking to each other online in order to figure out what's going on. So the kind of exposing the material to them in the first place doesn't look like me standing in a room shouting at people anymore. It's, they're watching half a YouTube video, they're pausing, they're investigating something using an online tool that gives them feedback about whatever program they want, and they can modify it. And then they're going on a course forum, and they're asking questions about the material. That's kind of what a college class looks like now. And then, that's a small part of what they do. Most of what they do in the class is problem solving, so they're building projects. And those projects are supposed to be examples of how they would apply what they're learning in the class. And here, we've worked really hard to make sure that when students get stuck, they don't get stuck for too long. So we can really push them to do things that should be kind of beyond their ability in terms of conventional understanding of what a first-year computer science student can do. But if we give them the right structure and scaffolding, they really can pull it off. So we have an interactive tutor. I know it looks like not so fancy because there are no colors. But it turns out that when you're learning computing, understanding how to interact on a command line is really useful. So that's the interface that we give them. But it basically coaches them to make sure when they read a new problem, they really understand what the problem's asking before they even solve it. And that gets rid of tons of questions that we used to have to answer manually. And now the kind of automated tutor guides them through that process, and then it gives them feedback about whether they solved the problem correctly using simple examples and then more and more difficult examples, some of which we can now automatically generate just by looking for patterns within a large class and how they get stuck. The fact that we automate kind of understanding a project has freed up a lot of instructor time to actually help students. So students come to office hours. We run them 30 hours a week. And the room is usually full of 40 students at a time these days. And those students are just working on their project. And then when they get stuck, they raise their hand. Except for then it became too complicated with everybody raising their hands. So one of my staff members built an online web application where students could say what problem they needed help on. And then one of the TAs could say, oh, I have 4 students in the room who are all stuck in the same place. I can talk to them in a group. And that's made something much more efficient. So these little pieces of technology are actually there just to kind of organize the human-to-human interactions in a way that's been really helpful. And then when we give feedback totally in an online fashion so that we can really focus our effort that goes into assessment to be as efficient as possible, freeing up a lot of instructor time for actually just teaching the students what they need to know. So I guess in summary, I'd say it's now possible to teach a really large course. It doesn't look like a course that used to look like. But little pieces of technology that really focus on individual problems seem to be the key to scaling a course so that the experience stays focused and community-driven and useful, even when there's 1,400 people all enrolled at the same time.